Good evening and welcome to Asian Review. We have a sparkling and fascinating program for you. We're going to be talking about Shizuoka Prefecture. And if you don't know it already, this prefecture is Japan's rising star. And we have no better person, no better guest to help us with this exploration than the governor of this prefecture, Governor Heita Kawakatzu. So welcome to Asian Review, Governor Kawakatzu. It's nice to have you here in Hawaii.
Thank you, David. Aloha.
Aloha. It's great.
Mahalo nui loa for having me here.
You know, for this short trip, you've learned a lot.
Yes, yes, I did.
And we'll talk more about that. But
Yes.
it is, Governor Kawakatzu, it's wonderful that you're willing to spend time with us here. And thank you for, I know you have a very busy schedule while you're in Honolulu. But thank you for joining us
Pleasure is mine, yes.
on Asian Review. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very unusual program in that if you think back in your memory, you've probably never seen an extensive, in-depth interview with a senior Japanese politician in your life. And so we are breaking new ground here, and we think that all of us are going to learn something. So if you haven't done it already, go get yourself a nice cup of coffee and come join us for this conversation that we're about ready to have here. And I warn you, Governor Kawakatzu is far more educated than I am. This is a man who holds a PhD from Oxford University in the UK, and so
Long time ago, yes.
so I'll be careful with you, and so so we're gonna have some fun in this discussion. So I encourage you to come join us. And just by way of background for our audience, Governor Kawakatzu, could you help them place Shizuoka Prefecture on the map of Japan, just because many members of our audience have actually been to or through Shizuoka Prefecture, they just don't know it.
You know Tokyo, you know Kyoto. Shizuoka is located in between Tokyo and Kyoto. That means that is located in the center of Japan. And it is the house, it is the home of Mount Fuji. We are facing the Pacific Ocean, and over the Pacific Ocean, there is the United States or Hawaii. And so everybody, I hope, knows Mount Fuji.
I think so.
Yeah, very beautiful. And it will become the World Heritage next year, I hope. And last more than 1,000 years, Japanese cherishes the beauty and admire the Mount Fuji.
Well, let's talk about Mount Fuji, for
Yeah.
instance, because Mount Fuji is really the beautiful icon of Japan.
Yes.
It's what everybody, when they think of Japan, the first thing they see in their mind is Mount Fuji. And located in your prefecture, and you mentioned that it's going to be designated as a World Cultural
Yes.
Heritage Site.
Not natural heritage, but cultural heritage.
Cultural heritage.
It is the object of worship. It is the source for art. And everybody, in long time ago, they were walking around Japanese islands, and they looked at these mountains, and they admire it, and they composed the poems. They depicted in the many literatures, and then they go back to their homes, and they say about what they saw. And you have to show the shapes.
Right.
And then Japanese is covered by mountains. 2/3 of Japanese islands were covered by mountains. And there are some, say, similar shape to Mount Fuji. This is look like Mount Fuji. And there are so many mountains which have the name of Fuji. And
Interesting.
Yeah. From
What
the
is-
Hokkaido to Okinawa.
Is there a meaning for the name Fuji?
Means it is a part of Mount Fuji's nations. Mount Fuji is a symbol
Okay.
of our nations, and the name of the mountains which have Mount Fuji is, I counted, 340 at least.
340?
Yes, from Hokkaido to Okinawa. Say, for instance, if you go to Aomori, the right farther top of the north of Honshu, the biggest island of Japan, there is called Mount Iwaki. It is called Tsugaru Fuji. Or if you go to the southern tip of Kyushu, there is Kagoshima Prefecture. There is the mountain called Kaimon-dake, which is called Satsuma Fuji. Satsuma Fuji. The Satsuma Fuji is more famous in terms of names than Kaimon-dake, original name in that prefecture.
So it's almost as if the Mount Fuji is to use the kind of a funny American expression, is the mother of all Fujis.
Indeed, yes. And
Right?
so that it is the place of Shizuoka having that's the mother of Mount Fuji.
Interesting.
So unless you know Mount Fuji, you can't understand what Japan is.
What does it mean when there is this official designation as a World Cultural Heritage Site? What is that? Is there a change going to take place, or what does it mean?
So far, it is a symbol, or it is the most important what you call jewels of Japanese, but it will become the treasure for mankind. That
Okay.
is different. Big differences. It is the most important treasure which you have to preserve for the future generations to keep it beautiful as it was, and it is erupted. You see, Mount Fuji is of course beautiful, but it erupted several times,
Right,
just
right.
like Hawaii's
Volcanoes, sure,
yes.
sure.
It's a volcanoes. As far as I remember, 864, a long time ago, big eruptions.
Yeah, I missed that one. That was before I
you
was
missed,
born.
I'm sorry you missed it. And then next one is 1707.
Okay.
Big slip. And therefore,
I missed that one too, you know.
You did, yes. The next time you don't miss it.
Okay.
The third time. But I don't expect it. But in any case, it's a moving. It is a growing. We feel the nature is alive. And you cannot control the nature.
Right, absolutely.
It creates the view of the nature among the Japanese. You cannot control by your technologies. It is beyond your capacity. And therefore, you must learn from the nature. And the symbol of the nature is Mount Fuji. And it erupts. You must be humble. You must care for that. And you must learn. And then the nature changing the faces according to the seasons. Then if you look at the Mount Fuji in the winter,
Right. Beautiful
Beautiful.
snow. I've seen that. I have
You
seen
did
that.
it,
It
yes.
is just fabulous.
and that facing the Pacific, the Russian side,
Right.
is full of snows. You cannot go out. You slip, and you just stay in the house. But if you come to the American side, that is Shizuoka is facing.
Okay.
Blue sky. All the snow is stopped, blocked by the mountains.
On the Russian
which is
side.
Russian side. And, but you can enjoy the skiing.
Okay, all right.
But this side, you can enjoy the viewing the Mount Fuji's beauty. And we have Fuji-san's day, the day of Mount Fuji, February 23rd.
February, the Mount Fuji, like a holiday.
Yes.
February 23. Okay.
Yes. That is in Japanese 223. We can pronounce it Fuji-san.
Fuji-san.
Fuji-san. And also Fujimi. Fujimi means viewing Mount Fuji. And therefore it is easy to remember. Yeah. And in the spring, flowers blooming, cherry blossoms and other flowers. And Mount Fuji is very good combinations together. All the flowers, because flowers is art of I think the water. The water is coming from the top of the mountains,
Right.
snow smelled, and then coming out beautiful waters, which create the art, natural art, that is flowers or the greens, and then the early summer, you can see tea plantations, more than 800 years history, since 1200, the tea planted.
On the slopes of Mount Fuji.
Yes, indeed, and we cherished it, and we drank, and then you could be very healthy. You can be beautiful and also healthy, and in fact, longevity, healthy longevity, healthy long life. If you count how old you can be, even if you're very aged,
Okay.
still you don't feel any problems in daily lives. The highest ages were found, highest aged people are found in the prefecture of Shizuoka, because
Interesting.
they drink
Interesting.
tea.
All right, hold on one second. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll work out arrangements if you're interested in visiting Shizuoka Prefecture as a consequence of this fabulous description of Mount
Yeah.
Fuji, because I don't know about all of you out there watching this, but as I'm chatting here with Governor Kawakatsu, I'm getting more interested in seeing Mount Fuji as we go
Please do
along.
come. You are most welcome.
And you know, the thing that we need to talk about a little bit here, because you know, this kind of is a teaser for our program here to talk about Mount Fuji at the beginning, so that you make the connection between this very, very important rising star in Japan, the prefecture of Shizuoka, to Hawaii. And what's the connection or the linkage, Governor Kawakatsu, that exists today and maybe in the future between Shizuoka Prefecture and Hawaii?
You see, since the 19th century, Japanese are immigrating to various places, and I think Brazil, United States, and Hawaii is one of them. And the Shizuoka's peoples also immigrated to this beautiful islands. This is the beginning. But special relations were not yet concluded. And just yesterday, I met Governor Abercrombie,
Abercrombie, okay.
very good person. And I found he is islander, and we are also
Islanders,
islanders,
of
yes.
course.
And so we feel very like a comrades, yes. And we had the memorandum of understanding on clear energy operations, cooperations, yeah. And so it is the beginning of the relation between prefectural or state kind. So far, just honeymoon trip or vacation trips. These are the basic relationship between Shizuoka peoples. We have the population 3,776.
3 million.
3.7 million.
Right.
I must be very correct, because the height of Mount Fuji is 3,776 meters above the sea level. And if you can multiply 1,000, you could be 3.776 million. That is population of Shizuoka Prefecture. Yes, yes,
The
it is.
population.
Yes, it is Mount Fuji.
Mount Fuji times 10.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
That's easy
Anyway,
to remember.
that's easy to remember.
So the next time I'm in Japan,
Yes.
somebody asks me a question, they say, David, I bet you don't know the population of Shizuoka Prefecture. I'll say, absolutely. You take the height of Mount Fuji
Yes,
times 10,
indeed.
and they'll say,
Easy,
okay,
yes.
how much is that? I'll say 3,700 meters,
776.
3,776 meters times 10.
Yes.
Easy.
Easy.
Okay, right. All right.
Anyway,
Well,
so the relation started.
Okay.
And I am so grateful for the Americans altogether, particularly Hawaiians.
Why is that?
Immediately after the East Japan earthquake.
Hold one second now. Governor Kawakatsu was referring to the East Japan earthquake.
Yes.
And for those of us in Hawaii and the United States, that is the recent 3/11 smash that the Tohoku region took just year before last.
Yes, yes. And many people lost their lives and homes and so on. But immediately after the earthquake took place, the governor and lieutenant governor, Mr.
Abercrombie.
and also Mr. Shat, went to Japanese office, governor, general, council.
The Japanese consulate here
Yes,
in Honolulu.
yes,
Okay.
yeah. They showed their willingness to help, touching, and this was exemplified in various ways. Tomodachi operation, friendship operations. 20,000 Americans came over to help. No other countries did this one. You see.
Yeah, there's a
And so-
very, very close
Yes.
cultural relationship
Yes.
and ties between the people of the state of Hawaii
Yes.
and Japan. Yeah.
Now this is our time. What we can do for you. Yes, and so I'm always thinking about this. And then I initially, Mr. Ruth, Ambassador Ruth, who wanted to have prefectural relationships between the.
This is for the audience. He's referring to Governor Kawakatzu is referring to the current U.S. ambassador to
Yes.
Japan.
Yes, Ambassador Ruth, very good person. He wanted to have not the government relations, but locality relationships, say, for instance, California and Shizuoka Prefecture,
Okay.
and so on. And but for instance, California is too big for me. Yes, like Japan.
Like the whole country of Japan.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
How we can deal with this big state, for instance. And then we had 3 times conversations, meetings. And then for the first time outside of Japanese Tokyo embassy, came to this island. This is for that purposes. And I found my colleagues of governors, Hiroshima and Sagas, they also found this is manageable. We can do something for us to help or to deepen, to enhance the relationship between Americans, Hawaiians, and then this could be the stepping stone to California, to other
I
states
see.
of the
Okay.
United States. And the easy is, for instance, to send students, high school boys and girls, to learn English or American style of lifestyles, the manners, and so on, life and folk, and so on. And so volcanoes and oceans, and how to make use of clean energies, and so on. This is now we are facing. This is a task which we are facing. We can do it together, So this is my second time to visit in Hawaii.
Okay.
The first time was long time ago, just for conference, in hotel and conference room and airport, which I remember.
Okay.
Three things.
So
but
this
now
is-
this is new findings.
Yeah, and this is so if I can really understand and appreciate what you're saying, Governor Kawakatzu, that this is the beginning of a new era between Shizuoka Prefecture and the state of Hawaii, and your visit here has been involved to sign a memorandum of understanding between the prefectural government and the state of Hawaii on renewable energy.
Yes.
And we're going to get into renewable energy in a moment, ladies and gentlemen, but you are watching Asian Review, and we're talking with the governor of Shizuoka Prefecture, Governor Heita Kawakatzu.
Cow and the cats.
Those of you with Japanese-American ancestry, you'll get the joke here, and but it's okay. We're having fun with this program. Isn't it? It's okay.
I mean, my name is difficult to pronounce. Kawakatzu.
Kawakatzu.
Yeah, but cow and the cats.
Kawakatzu. Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right. This is the governor of the Shizuoka Prefecture, Japan's rising star, and we want to talk about this connection having to do with renewable energy, green energy, and maybe a little bit of background about this for our audience. And you have an incentive coming from Shizuoka Prefecture to work this problem of renewable energy, and why is that? What's the incentive that you have?
There are lots of incentives, but one of the most important ones is we have nuclear reactor plants in Shizuoka Prefecture. And
Okay.
what happened to Fukushima?
I saw Fukushima, and so is your nuclear reactor? What is the name of it? What do you call
It's Hamaoka.
it? Hamaoka.
Hamaoka.
Okay. Is it shut down?
It was ordered, or say it was requested by the Prime Minister to shut down. It was last year, May. He ordered the 6th of May, and then Chubu Electric Power Company had difficulty whether they shut down the moving reactors, but they finally accepted to shut down all the 5 reactors. And the 14th of May, they shut down all the reactors. And the reason why Mr. Prime Minister, at that time, I think Mr. Khan, ordered, yes, only my prefecture's nuclear power plants were ordered to shut down.
Wait a minute. So
there are more than 50 nuclear plants in Japan.
okay, and you have 5?
We have 5.
5, and all 5 ordered to shut down?
That's right. Only ours. Do you know why? Of course, this is because our prefecture is facing the possible earthquake. It's called Pacific, we call it Tokai earthquake.
Tokai. So
Yeah, Tokai is East Oceans.
Okay, so that means that the Shizuoka Prefecture is in the, how can we say this? It's in the target zone for another earthquake. That's
Indeed,
what they
yes.
think.
In 1978, there was a theory this Tokai earthquake would take place at any time. And Mr. Khan, the Prime Minister, explained within the following 30 years, 87%, he said 87% the possibility of taking place of this
I
earthquake.
wonder if do you think he consulted any odds makers in Las Vegas for the 87%? Or
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? So nobody knows.
Okay.
Yes, you can ask the gods of oceans. But in any case, that is what he said. And then,
so you lost all 5 nuclear reactors?
yes, and that is one of the most important energy sources. Yes, and so we have to change from the nuclear plant to the other sources of energy.
Well, wait, before we get into this change, what has that done to the availability of power in Shizuoka Prefecture? You lose 5 nuclear power plants. What do you have left?
But in fact, the company which shut down the nuclear plant, covering not only Shizuoka Prefecture, but other, say, about 10 prefectures, we have 10 electric power companies. And Okinawa Electric Power Company doesn't have any nuclear plant, but the remaining 9 companies have the nuclear plants. And our is called Chubu Electric Power Company, have the only one nuclear power plant in our prefecture, and which comprises 10% of the total energy which they produce for these big central area of Japan.
Okay.
One of them is Shizuoka. Therefore, even if we lose nuclear plant, the remaining 90% were coming from the other sources, such as hydrogens or fuels and wind and others. But still, 10%.
10% is a lot.
But in fact, in average, 35% of the Japanese energy was depending upon nuclear plants. And for instance, in Kyushu, which is the 3rd biggest island in Japan, Kyushu Electric Power Company depends upon nuclear power about 40 to 50%. Shikoku, it's the smallest island in Japan, the 4th biggest, which 50% of the energy is coming from nuclear plants. So each area have differences in terms of the dependence on this nuclear plant. But
So
luckily enough, we have only 10%.
10% drop. You lost 5 nuclear power plants, but you have a 10%
Only
drop in
10%,
power.
yes.
So that 10% gives you, as the leader of Shizuoka Prefecture,
Yes.
tremendous incentive to develop other alternative forms of energy, doesn't
Indeed. Yeah. Therefore, when I heard the proposal from Governor Abercrombie, the common theme is renewable
Okay.
clean energies. Oh, okay, I would like to come at any cost. Yes, so I came without any sleep.
Well, I guess what this all means is that,
I night flight, therefore I didn't sleep really. But during the meeting, my brain is just like this.
really.
Yes, but because of the excitement of the presentations of the Mr. Crombie and other Lieutenant
Brian
Governor
Schatz. Right.
he made a very good presentation of the energy programs, and I was very impressed.
So that means that this, what we are seeing here is the potential for a fantastic bridge being built from Hawaii to Shizuoka Prefecture, and that the possibility of all kinds of partnerships and strategic work on renewable energy with Hawaii's renewable energy business and Japanese industry interested in developing renewable technology,
Yes,
something like that.
Yes, indeed.
That's
Yes, so
incredible.
therefore,
That's exciting.
the bright future,
Yeah.
and that is something, a formidable task, which, you see, I just said it was shut down, but how to dispose the 5 nuclear plants is a formidable task.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Well,
You know-
let me ask you something. Is there, you look at those 5 nuclear plants and you look at the prospect, the 87% possibility of the great Tokai earthquake coming. I guess what that means is those plants are permanently gone. They're never going to be resurrected.
Of course, the Tube Electric Power Company would like to reopen after they prepared for the safety things. But I think it is very hard because the earthquake thing is inevitably hit the nuclear plant, which is just beside the coastal line, just beside. There's a beautiful
The sand beaches?
sand beaches. You can swim, but the fish are available because of the water is warm. Because when you run the nuclear plant, you need to cool down. In order to cool down, the sea waters are used, and when it is used, the temperature is going up. These high temperatures, sea waters are used in the special places, which create the seed for various kinds of fish.
As long as the water is clean.
Yes. Oh, water is clean. That is okay. That is it only for cooling down the reactors. It is not going into the reactors outside. But in any case, but this is a serious task for us. How to decompose
These various power plants.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed, yes.
Let's change topics here for a minute, but staying in this kind of related theme, what kind of work have you been doing in the wake of the great East Japan earthquake for cooperation, planning for the future, for disaster cooperation between the United States and Japan? What have you been doing in that area?
You see, since 1978, when this theory was proposed, and we took it very seriously, and therefore we are now renowned as the most advanced prefecture in preparation for the coming possible great earthquake. Therefore, all the houses, for instance, high schools and junior high schools and elementary schools, these buildings are enduring the special levels, high levels of earthquake. Therefore, earthquake itself is inevitable, but how to reduce the disaster is something which we have done so far. But the tsunami is something which more damageable than we had expected. And therefore, we are now preparing not only for the earthquake, but for the big tsunamis. Although we have been preparing for tsunamis, but this is under 10 meters.
Okay.
But which attacked the Fukushima nuclear plant was 15 meters. Although they expected less than 10 meters tsunamis, but in fact 15 meters tsunamis came. Therefore, although if the great Tokai earthquake came, possibly less than 10 meters tsunami would come. Therefore, these protection had been already made.
In the past?
In the past,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
But now they are preparing 18 meters high, 18 meters high, 1.8 meters, 1.6 kilometers walls, 2 meters wide,
Okay.
18 meters high, the big
So a huge tsunami protection walls.
yes, and which will be completed by the end of this year. So we are very quick to prepare for tsunamis as well.
Let me see if I understand what you're saying here, because I think this is very significant for our audience here, is that the Governor Kawakatzu, as the leader of the Shizuoka Prefecture, your assumption is something like this. Your assumption is we are going to get hit, and we are going to be prepared to handle a earthquake and a tsunami, the magnitude of which already hit the Tohoku region. Is that right? And you are building these tsunami protection wall? And
May I just
am I correct or no?
correct and not exactly. When I said 18 meters wall, that is only for Hamaoka nuclear plants.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that part, yes. The others, you cannot do it as quick as such. We have many programs to protect peoples from possible tsunamis. But we are used to earthquake, you see. Almost every month there is some tremors, yeah? And so earthquakes are part of daily lives. Therefore, you shouldn't be afraid of too much, but you should be prepared for that.
Well, what is the direction of kind of very sophisticated advanced planning in terms of future disaster preparation that you have been doing, cooperation between with the United States, the U.S. government or military? What have you been doing in that respect?
Yeah, since March 11th, I was invited to American Embassy by Ambassador Ruth. It was the 1st of June, about 3 months later after 3/11, and we spent from lunchtime to 7:30 in the evening, and during that time, he explained many things about what they did for the Japanese peoples, more than it was open to the public. And I was so greatly impressed by what they did for us. And I thought it could be happen to in our prefecture, particularly as Prime Minister, 1 month beforehand, he asked to shut down our nuclear plant. If it was hit by tsunami, I must ask Mr. Ruth or Americans, friends, to help us. Therefore, I asked him, or I requested, if it is possible for them to do exercise together. We do almost every month or every other month. We do some exercising to protect from earthquake or tsunamis.
So you've already developed a
Yes.
disaster cooperation plan and are practicing
Yes.
now.
Yes, of course. You see, that is something what you have to do when you are living in earthquake island. But
Okay.
you-
No, I understand what you're saying. And I
just
think-
like typhoon, you know,
Sure.
every say June to November, typhoons comes, and people said Okinawa is a typhoon Ginza. Ginza is a high street.
Right.
Typhoon high street. So they used to this, and we are used to this. But used to something is one thing. You must be prepared for that, and then it gives you okay, we are safe or safer, and so you should be you cannot be always alert, but when it happens, you know what you should do.
But Governor Kawakatzu, is this plan that you have developed with the United States and I'm sure with the Japanese self-defense forces, this plan, are there other prefectures that have done this?
I don't think so, but Ambassador Ruth was very quick to understand this, and American Marines located in Okinawa, and the headquarters located in Zama in Kanagawa Prefecture, they came to see what it is. Of course, they know where the Shizuoka Prefecture is because Mount Fuji is there, but they just pass it. Shinkansen pass it
Right.
from Tokyo to Kyoto. You never stop it. You just looked at it, and then they got off. Oh, beautiful place. At the same time, 505 kilometers coastal line, and deepest deepest bay in Japan. Tokyo Bay, Osaka Bay, so many bays. We have Suruga Bay. That is 2,500 meters below the sea level, the deepest, which creates so good fish. Anyway, but anyway, so these coastal lines are beautiful. At the same time, if tsunami comes,
Very dangerous.
very dangerous. Therefore, they know what we are doing, and I would like them to know what they can do. And so I ask them to look around the nuclear plant and where you could station your troops and so on. These are something, unless you know the areas, you cannot work quickly. And 72 hours after the earthquake started, 3 days.
Right.
It's very important. After 3 days, the death rate is going very
Sure,
up.
skyrockets.
Yes, skyrockets, yes. And so as quick as possible, you have to rescue it. And so if you are accustomed to the areas, you can do quickly. And if you are knowing each other, then you can trust from the beginning. And the trust between Mr. Ambassador and ourselves, I think, very deep, I think. And in fact, this year, May, there was a Shimoda meeting. Shimoda is a place where the first American Commodore Perry.
Commodore Perry arrived.
Commodore Perry, I respect him. And he came, and there was the treaty, friendship treaty was concluded 1854. And that is because in these areas they had the whale huntings, and they needed fresh water and fuels and food. And okay, Japan could provide these things for the American sailors. These are the friendship treaties, and therefore, the relation, the first relation between Americans and Japanese was observed at the port of Shimoda, and these first relation was so amicable, so friendly. There was no what you call negative thing
Okay.
happened.
No friction, right?
No frictions. And so both are curious of each other, you see, and they showed their friendship. And so the memory of Shimoda is peaceful and friendly. These are the basis upon which we would like to construct the future relations between the Americans and the Japanese. And then out of Shimoda, we had Black Ship Festival, Kurofune Matsuri. Black Ship
The
is
black ship.
Black Ship is the name which the Japanese named the American four big what you call
Those sailing
vessels.
ships,
The
yeah,
sailing
vessels,
ships. Yes,
okay, right.
it was colored by black. Therefore, the Black Ship. Black Ship Festival more than 70 years. And then at that stage, Mr. Ambassador Ruth and Mrs. Ambassador came to enjoy the Black Sheep Festival. At the same time, we had the meeting. American troops, American navies, and Marines, and Japanese self-defense armies, and ourselves, and localities, they all together, we had the serious meetings, what we can do if something happened. Of course, it is for the sake of our prefectures, but it will help.
Well, you're serving as a model for other prefectures in Japan, yes?
If they follow suit, it's okay, yes. But somebody should initiate, and it is many reasons for us to do so because of our possible
Sure,
disasters.
sure, you're very well. You know, let me, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Asian Review. We're having a conversation with Governor Kawakatzu from the Shizuoka Prefecture. Governor Kawakatzu is here in Hawaii, just signed a memorandum of understanding with the state of Hawaii with respect to renewable energy and a future relationship between the two prefectures. But the significance of what Governor Kawakatzu has just been describing is that of all the prefectures, or you know, for those of you who don't know, it's like a state in Japan. Shizuoka is the leader now in terms of disaster preparation and disaster mitigation, with a plan that is in place. I mean, you're ready to be. Nobody wants this, but is it fair to say that Shizuoka Prefecture is ready for a hit?
Yes, David.
Tomorrow.
Yes, David.
Wow.
At any time, we must be prepared for that.
All right, now here's the part that I want to share with you that you don't know. Last week, I was at a disaster preparation and mitigation conference here in Hawaii, and invited to this conference were representatives, NGOs, and government officials from Indonesia, from Vietnam, and from Philippines. And I will share with you now that being discussed in this meeting was this most unusual prefecture in Japan that had already developed and implemented, not just developed, but implemented a disaster mitigation plan, and that was Shizuoka Prefecture.
Thank you, David.
Isn't that?
I'm very flattered.
So,
But in fact, it is the truth.
So what's interesting is that
Yes.
your leadership in the prefecture is going beyond Japan now, and I think it's fair to say that in the months and years to come, you'll find other vulnerable regions in our Asia Pacific region that are going to follow your lead, which is that's a very significant legacy that you're going to leave the prefecture.
You see, in the last calamity, which attacked the Tohoku area, we can't rely upon the central government too much, and therefore something interesting happened.
What was that?
There are two prefectures which proposed, shall we have the cooperation relationship between prefecture levels? And so Kumamoto Prefecture, that is located in Kyushu, and also Kagoshima Prefecture, it is also located in Kyushu. Yeah, there are 7 prefectures in Kyushu Island, and 2 of them wanted to conclude some mutual cooperation relationships. This is far away, about say at least 500 or 700 kilometers away from Shizuoka to each other. And so once we are hit, they might be safe. If they are hit, we are safe. Therefore, either safer, then you can go immediately after.
Right.
Yeah, and so these arrangements which we have made, they wanted us to help. And one of the provinces in China called Sichuan.
Sichuan.
We call Sekkosho.
Okay.
It was, I don't know the pronunciation of Chinese. We call it Sekkosho. it's next to Shanghai,
Okay.
western side, and Ningbo is the biggest port. Anyway, more than 57 million people live there. They wanted to have the disaster protection agreement between my prefecture and that. We have only 1/10, less than 1/10 population, but they wanted to have it. Therefore, we are now preparing for not only for ourselves, but for other folks of Japan and also
Into
foreign.
China. Well, that's a perfect time for us to kind of shift our discussion here. We've been talking about, in this program, we've been talking about the icon of Shizuoka Prefecture, Mount Fuji, and then this whole disaster preparation and the challenges with power and the need to develop renewable energy. Let's shift now into something that I find is very fascinating, and that is that the regional engagements that the prefecture has been doing in efforts to kind of internationalize on a prefectural level. Is that the right word, prefectural?
Yes, prefecture level is the right word for me.
Okay,
But
okay.
you must say state level here.
Okay, all right.
Very
So
confusing.
give us just a quick little synopsis of what is that all about?
Yeah, nation state was built, say, around 1800, and after that, there are so many nation states, and we have United Nations. So the relation so far internationally, it's a nation to nation, Tokyo to Washington, Washington to Beijing, and so
Right.
on. And but if you look at last, say, 20, 30 years, sister relations between cities, and local government, so many spreading out, and so. This is a new era, new era, which is subsidized, which is complementary or supplementary to the nation level's relationship.
Okay.
Prefecture level relationships is coming out.
So this whole trip to Hawaii, the memorandum
Yes.
of understanding is a good example of
Yes,
that.
yes. And because of the rise of democracies, people become self-determination can be done, you know. And so this is prefecture level. We have sister relationship with some of the local provinces, yes.
This connection into engagement areas. Have you, at a prefectural level, have you done? You've talked about engagement into China, with the I'm not.
Chechen
Province.
Yes,
Okay,
thank
near
you.
Shanghai. We got that.
You have a very good pronunciation.
And
I know
so
good.
let's shift now. So without some kind of engagement with Korea and Mongolia.
I'm going to, yes, Mongolia. You know that there is there are about 20 provinces in Mongolia. One of them is called Dornogobi. That means Eastern
Don't
Gobi.
ask me to pronounce that.
Okay, I can pronounce.
Okay, you
properly.
got it.
Dornogobi. That East Gobi. That is a place. Only 60,000 people live there.
Wow.
Yeah, altogether in Mongolia, 160, 1.6 million.
Okay.
Yes, less than our population is 3776 million, you know. And so, but so many friendly people to Japan. And so I decided to have the friendship treaty, friendship, what you call.
Like a sister state relationship,
Yes,
sister
yes,
prefecture.
yes.
Interesting.
Interesting. And they wanted the, say, energy technologies. They had so many coals, very good coals,
okay.
yes. But they don't have the technology to create the energies enough. And therefore, we can produce.
Interesting. Okay.
We can provide, not myself, but the companies, you see. And so there is something which we can do. They don't have any sea. We have so beautiful seas. And their winter is -40 centigrade. But our prefectures is a very moderate. You can have strawberries, And
Well, in fact, your prefecture is called the Riviera of Japan, right?
indeed, yes, we have 219 different food items among the 47 prefectures. That is the highest, top Japan. Yes, so eating good, fresh food, and scenery is nice, and technology, just like a Suzuki, Honda, Kawai, Yamaha, Photonics. These are all located in Shizuoka Prefecture.
Shizuoka.
Yes.
Let me try something a little bit sensitive here. I don't know where this is going to go, but in terms of international engagements
Yes.
at the prefectural level, any type of engagements at all with South Korea?
We are going to have in next month.
Really?
Yes. And
Isn't that unusual for Japan?
I think it is now going, it's like a fashion. I think,
Really?
yeah, sister relations.
Okay.
Between local cities and prefecture levels. In fact, this is Chinese national policy, and which was followed by South Korea. Therefore, in South Korea, each provinces, they had the ambassador. They have ambassador.
Interesting.
Yes. Therefore, in the 21st century, I think, of course, Washington and Tokyo is important, but local government is also playing an important role. I can imagine.
Interesting.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Asian Review here. We are doing a special program with Governor Kawakatzu from Shizuoka Prefecture from Japan. As you probably have gathered by now, this is a most unusual conversation. I'm glad that you've joined us. And Governor Kawakatzu, let's shift gears and let me ask you a question that's probably, because we're going to be running out of time in just a minute here. I got several other things I want to cover with you. You know, as a consequence of this enormous effort, Operation Tomodachi, in the Tohoku region, what's happened to the Japanese public opinion having to do with the U.S. Marines or the U.S. military? Has it changed?
I think so. In those days, or say before 3/11, March 11, the relation between Japan and the United States were rather precarious because of the military bases, Okinawa's military bases issues, and but because of their gigantic help, this is every day broadcasted. The Mr. Ambassador Ruth went to the disaster areas several times, and so this is really friend in need. Is a really friend indeed. Therefore, the friendship apparently in general level is come back. Yes, of course we have had the problem of military bases. Apart from this, the image is favorable, and that's why when I initiated, say, Shimoda meetings,
Right.
Everybody supported this. I mean, in our prefecture, yes.
I understand.
Therefore, it is a good time. You know, we have some proverb, what you call, when you are in difficulties, it is a good chance. Difficulty convert into a good chance. Yes.
It's a chance to really develop trust, isn't it?
Indeed, yes.
Yeah. You know, let's kind of turn this conversation around just a little bit. And let's suppose that I represent the audience out there. I represent the people of the state of Hawaii. What could we do to build a stronger relationship with your prefecture, Shizuoka Prefecture? What would you advise? What could you tell us to do?
Visit us.
Visit us, okay?
Yes.
So put that on your checklist. Visit Shizuoka Prefecture, and you got to see Mount Fuji if you haven't seen it already. And there's going to be a new way to visit Mount Fuji, isn't there?
Yes, there is an airport.
An airport.
Yes.
Okay, and so
Mount Fuji Airport.
Mount Fuji, and it's so
You can see Mount Fuji. This airport is just only 3 years.
Oh, 3 years away.
Yes. No. 3 years 3 years ago, it was built.
Okay.
And underneath, it is on the hilltop, 132 meters above the sea level,
Okay.
and surrounded by tea plantations.
So it's an
green.
opportunity to land in the middle of the tea plantations.
Yes.
And underneath the airport is what?
Shinkansen.
Underneath.
Underneath, because it's 50 meters below the hilltop,
Okay.
Shinkansen. Therefore, we are now planning to build a station. If we have the station underneath of the airport, it would be the only one in Japan. The airport have the Shinkansen station together.
So here's the trick. You fly to Japan, work out arrangements so you can land at the Mount Fuji airport.
Mount Fuji Airport.
Okay, and then you take your luggage downstairs, catch the Shinkansen.
Not that. The station is not that.
Okay,
In
okay,
10
okay.
years' time.
But in a few years' time,
I'll do it quicker.
you come back and
possible,
give
yes.
us another announcement when it's ready to go.
Yes.
Okay. But the idea is you land at Mount Fuji Airport, and then you have a choice. You go downstairs,
Yes.
and you can either go
To Tokyo or to
Station
Kyoto.
to Kyoto,
Yes, on the
or visit
Yeah, or
Shizuoka
whatever you like.
Prefecture.
Yes, of course.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes.
We're trying not to have too much fun here, but we're doing a good job so far, I think. And we're just coming down the home stretch of this program. And I guess what I want to ask you, short answer question, because we're almost out of time. We in the United States here, we look at Japan and we see the country getting back on its feet. And we look at the resources that Japan has, and one of the resources that we see that seems to us in the United States underutilized is the Japanese woman in the workforce and her station in life. My question is this? Do you see this changing?
Yes, very rapidly. We are encouraging for women to work outside. At the same time, it is the work should be together with daily lives.
We have to
raising children.
We're going to explore this some other time, but we're out of time.
Oh.
Thank you for joining Asian Review, ladies and gentlemen, and we hope you've enjoyed this conversation.